Okay, everyone, I can confirm that we are now live to the public on YouTube, and we've also started to record the meeting. Thank you very much. Over to the chair.
So welcome members of the public, councillors and honorary aldermen to East Devon District Council's virtual extraordinary council meeting on Monday the 8th of June 2020. I'm Councillor Val Ranger, your chairman for the start of this meeting. All participants here today are taking part remotely, and the committee is being viewed online and recorded. So please bear this in mind throughout the meeting, and may I remind you to be careful with your language. In the event of a break in the internet connection or a power cut, please bear with us as we try to reconnect. If we're not able to reconnect after 15 minutes, the meeting will be adjourned and reconvened at a later date. Please check the committee page on our website for further details. Please make sure all microphones are muted when you're not speaking to avoid any background noise levels. Please keep your points short and do not interrupt when someone is speaking. If you wish to comment, please raise your electronic blue hand and wait to be called. All councillors have been sent the agenda for today's meeting. Any members of the public who want to view the agenda can do so by visiting our website at eastdevon.gov.uk. I will now start the committee by doing a roll call of everyone here present. When you hear your name, please confirm by saying present.
Councillor Armstrong.
Present.
Councillor Arnott.
Present.
Councillor Bailey.
Present.
Councillor Bickley.
Present.
Councillor Blakey.
Present.
Councillor Bloxham.
Present.
Councillor Brown.
Councillor Brown. I think Councillor Brown's just joining. Oh,
yep.
Thank you.
I'm here now.
Thank you. Councillor Cahill. Councillor Cahill. No. Councillor Chamberlain.
Present.
Councillor Chapman. Councillor Chubb.
Present.
Councillor Coleman.
Present.
Councillor Davey.
Present.
Councillor Desarum.
Present.
Councillor Faithful.
Present.
Councillor Gardner.
Present.
Councillor Gazzard.
Present.
Councillor Hawkins.
Present.
Councillor Hayward.
Present.
Councillor Hookway.
Present.
Councillor Howe.
Present.
Councillor Ingham. Councillor Jackson. Councillor Jarvis.
Present.
Councillor Jeffrey.
Present.
Councillor Johns.
Present.
Councillor Young.
Present.
Councillor King.
Present.
Councillor Ledger.
Present.
Councillor Loudon.
Present.
Councillor Manley.
Present.
Councillor McCollum.
Present.
Councillor McLaughlin.
Present.
Councillor Miller.
Present.
Councillor Pepper. Councillor Pook.
Present.
Councillor Pratt.
Present.
Councillor Ranger.
Present.
Councillor Rickson.
Present.
Councillor Rowland.
Present.
Councillor Rylance.
Present.
Councillor Taylor.
Present.
Councillor Taylor, thank you.
Present.
Thank you. Councillor Thomas.
Present.
Councillor Wibley.
Present.
Councillor Woodward.
Present.
Councillor Ragg.
Present.
And Councillor Chris Wright. Thank you.
Thank you. So I can confirm that we're quorate today by having a minimum of a quarter of members in attendance. So agenda item 1 is public speaking, and I can confirm there are no members of the public who pre-registered to speak on this occasion. Agenda item 2, apologies. So apologies have been received from.
Thank you. We've had 13 apologies. So we've Councillor Allen, Councillor Barrow, Councillor Bond, Councillor Dent, Councillor Hall, Councillor Hartnell, Councillor Hughes, Councillor Key, Councillor Moulding, Councillor Parr, Councillor Skinner, Councillor Twiss, and finally Councillor Tom Wright.
Thank you. So agenda item 3 is declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest? If anybody does have one, please raise your blue hand. Please remember to unmute yourselves and advise the type of interest and the reason. So no declarations of interest?
No.
So agenda item 4 is the motion to elect a chairman and vice chairman of the council. So following the decision...
Sorry, excuse me, Chairman. We've got Councillor Paul Arnott.
Sorry, apologies.
Sorry, Chair, I was prematurely raising my hand.
Right, so agenda item 4 then, the motion to elect a chairman and vice chairman of the council. So following the decision of council at the extraordinary meeting of council held on the 28th of May 2020, the council shall elect a chairman and vice chairman of the council for the remainder of the civic year. And I invite nomination for the office of chairman of the council for the remainder of the civic year.
I presume that's Councillor Arnott wishing to speak now then.
It is. Thank you, Chair. I'll keep this to about 30 seconds. The character and background of the chair of this council are more important at this troubling time than at any point in the last half century. Ideally, we would find an experienced councillor of ferocious independence of mind. Perhaps we could specify further. How about, at this time of COVID-19, a chair with a PhD in microbiology whose specialism is in the airborne dispersal of viral infections through molecular characteristics? By great good fortune, precisely such a person is now entering her 6th year as a district councillor for Sidmouth Town, and therefore I have no hesitation and a measure of pride in nominating Councillor Cathy Gardner to be the next chair of East Devon District Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? So I see that Councillor Eileen Ragg has raised her hand. Councillor Ragg, would you like to speak?
Thank you, Chairman. I am very pleased to second the nomination of Councillor Cathy Gardner to be chairman of this council. I've come to know Cathy much better over time, especially during the last year. She was impressive as the chair of the recent scrutiny committee meeting, exercising scrupulous fairness. She will bring a refreshing impartiality to meetings of full council. Her honesty, integrity, and meticulous attention to detail will shine like a beacon in her role as the conscience of East Devon District Council.
Thank you. Do I have any other nominations?
No blue hands raised, Chair.
No, thank you. Thank you. So as we have no more speakers, I would now like to call for a vote on the proposed recommendation.
So councillors, you are simply voting for whether you support Councillor Gardner as the chair of the council. You'll be asked whether you vote for or against or abstain.
Councillor Armstrong.
For.
Councillor Arnott.
For.
Councillor Bailey.
For.
Councillor Bickley.
For.
Councillor Blakey.
For.
Councillor Bloxham.
For.
Councillor Brown.
Abstain.
Councillor Cahill. Councillor Cahill's still not here. Councillor Chamberlain.
For.
Councillor Chapman, who joined after the first roll call. Councillor Chapman.
Abstain.
Thank you. Councillor Chubb.
Abstain.
Councillor Coleman.
For.
Councillor Davey.
For.
Councillor Desaram.
Abstain.
Councillor Faithful.
For.
Councillor Gardner.
For.
Councillor Gazzard.
For.
Councillor Hawkins.
For.
Councillor Hayward.
For.
Councillor Hookway.
For.
Councillor Howe.
Abstain.
Councillor Ingham has not arrived. Councillor Jackson.
For.
Councillor Jarvis.
For.
Councillor Jeffrey.
For.
Councillor Johns.
For.
Councillor Young.
For.
Councillor King.
For.
Councillor Ledger.
For.
Councillor Loudon.
For.
Councillor Manley.
For.
Councillor McCollum.
For.
Councillor McLaughlin.
For.
Councillor Miller.
For.
Councillor Pook.
For.
Councillor Pratt.
For.
Councillor Ranger.
For.
Councillor Rickson.
For.
Councillor Rowland.
For.
Councillor Rylance.
For.
Councillor Taylor.
For.
Councillor Thomas.
For.
Councillor Whibley.
For.
Councillor Woodward.
For.
Councillor Ragg.
For.
Councillor Chris Wright. Chairman, that's 38 votes for, with 5 abstentions.
Thank you. So Councillor Cathy Gardner is confirmed as the new chairman of East Devon District Council, and I will now stand aside and hand over to the monitoring officer to complete the appointment, and the new chairman will then take over the meeting.
Sarah, it's Anita from Legal here. Henry's just lost his access, I think, unless he's come back. No, he's missing. Sue, do you have the wording that's needed to appoint? I'll have to look for it. Sorry, members. This is the nature of technology.
I believe.
So it's Mark here. So hopefully the new chairman has the relevant wording which she can read out, please.
I don't have Henry's words. I have the declaration of acceptance of office form.
Yes. Okay.
That's what
you need to read out now.
Okay. I, Councillor Cathy Gardner, having been elected to the office of Chairman of East Devon District Council, declare that I take the office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. And I have signed and dated the form. So
lovely. Okay, thank you. So I'll visually witness that at this stage, and duly witness it in due course.
Sorry, I'm back.
The next. Okay, jolly good. So the next item on the agenda is the vice chairman role. You happy to take it from there, Councillor?
Can I just like to thank Paul Arnott and Eileen Ragg for proposing and seconding me as chair of the District Council. I would just briefly like to say that I look forward to implementing as much as I possibly can in this role the duties of councillors under the Nolan principles, really respect for all members and members of the public in all our meetings, and particularly for the Nolan principles, that of objectivity, which currently is particularly relevant, that we should act and take decisions impartially, fairly and on merit, using the best evidence and without discrimination or bias. And I think that's nicely appropriate at this particular moment. So now we turn to the appointment of the Vice Chairman of the Council. I invite nominations for the office of Vice Chair of the Council for the remainder of the civic year.
Councillor Woodward has his hand up.
Thank you. I propose Councillor Val Ranger as Vice Chair. She has, in my belief, the requisite skills and, as we have just seen, the current experience, and I think she'll make an excellent Vice Chair. Therefore, I propose Councillor Ranger as Vice Chair without reservation. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Councillor Jeffrey.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be seconding the nomination of Councillor Ranger to remain as Vice Chair of this Council. I believe Councillor Ranger has done a great job as Vice Chair this past year and has carried out the role with utmost fairness, and that she merits this Council's support to be our Vice Chair once again.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations?
There are no more hands.
I don't see any other hands up. So can we please call for the vote? And I ask for the names of the councillors to be called out and to vote.
Councillor Armstrong.
For.
Councillor Arnott.
For.
Councillor Bailey.
For.
Councillor Bickley.
For.
Councillor Blakey.
For.
Councillor Bloxham.
For.
Councillor Brown.
Abstain.
Councillor Chamberlain.
For.
Councillor Chapman.
Abstain.
Councillor Chubb.
Abstain.
Councillor Coleman.
For.
Councillor Davey.
For.
Councillor Desarum.
Abstain.
Councillor Faithful.
For.
Councillor Gardner.
For.
Councillor Gazzard.
For.
Councillor Hawkins.
For.
Councillor Hayward.
For.
Councillor Hookway,
4.
Councillor Howe,
4.
Councillor Jackson,
4.
Councillor Jarvis,
4.
Councillor Jeffrey,
4.
Councillor Johns,
4.
Councillor Young,
4.
Councillor King,
4.
Councillor Ledger,
4.
Councillor Loudon,
4.
Councillor Manley,
4.
Councillor McCollum,
4.
Councillor McLaughlin,
4.
Councillor Miller,
4.
Councillor Pook,
4.
Councillor Pratt,
4.
Councillor Ranger, Councillor Ranger,
4.
Councillor Rickson,
4.
Councillor Rowland,
4.
Councillor Rylance,
4.
Councillor Taylor,
4.
Councillor Thomas,
4.
Councillor Wibley,
4.
Councillor Woodward,
4.
Councillor Ragg.
4.
Thank you. Chairman, that's 39 votes for and 4 abstentions.
Thank you. I'm very pleased to confirm that Councillor Val Ranger has been elected as the new Vice Chairman of East Devon District Council, and I'll now hand over to the Chief Executive or the Monitoring Officer to complete the appointment.
Thank you, Chair, and apologies I wasn't here to do yours. A slight technical glitch. Councillor Ranger, would you please read out the declaration that you have in front of you, and if you can then sign and date it, please.
Yes. So I, Councillor Val Ranger, having been elected to the office of Vice Chair of East Devon District Council, declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability.
Can you give me a quick wave? Lovely, thank you very much. And I can countersign, so that is now done. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you. Assuming that Councillor Ranger doesn't wish to say anything else, Can
I just thank Councillors Woodward and Jeffrey for nominating me for the role, and to those who voted for me. And I see this role as a privilege, and I look forward to working with the Chairman and representing the Council at civic occasions for the rest of the civic year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That brings our meeting to an end, and I would like to thank everyone, including any members of the public watching online, for taking part. However, can I just remind all those present that the supporting officer will confirm when the meeting is no longer being recorded or going live, and until then, your comments will be live to the public. Thank you.